Hello and welcome everyone. This is Mike. I'm the founder and CEO of SuiteDash. Welcome back to the First Principles training. In this video, we'll be covering dashboards and pages and the various topics that are around those. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So we've talked about a portal before, but of course a portal is made up of content. And that content is presented in the browser primarily on dashboards and pages. And as we talked about before, the big difference between something like a dynamic portal and your website is we can show completely unique content to each person that logs in based on how they are categorized and how they are classified according to your plan. So with that in mind, we'll first look at static content versus dynamic content. We'll move from there into dashboards and introduce you to a dashboard and how a dashboard is assigned. Then we'll break off into the content block editor, which is really the workhorse of all dashboards and pages. We'll introduce you to it early on in the video, and then we'll cover portal pages. We'll discuss the concept of a start page and how that might be useful for you. Then we'll introduce you to landing pages, and then lastly, we'll explore the idea of linking and interlinking all these pages and some of the strategies and ideas behind why that can be very useful for you. Alright, so let's move to the first principle here, which is static content versus dynamic content. Now what you see here is a simple representation of a basic dashboard that you might show to your clients, for example. It includes their company name, their name, and a few information fields that you may find helpful to display for them. Very generic here, and this is just meant to be as an example. But this content doesn't really help us because we can really only show it to this one person, Emily Velasquez. If someone else logs in, we can't show them this page. And if we have 1,000 clients, we definitely don't want to make 1,000 different pages for each client and make sure that they get directed to their unique page, because of course that's a tremendous amount of work and upkeep and maintenance. It's just not feasible and it just doesn't make sense. So that's where dynamic content comes in. So the solution is that you create a generic dashboard that is laid out just as you want all of your clients to see, but each piece and part of it is dynamic in a way that depending on which client is logged into the platform sees that by authentication, as we discussed in the CRM video. When they are a known target, when we authenticate them, we know who they are, and we return the information just as it would be if you made it static. So this gives you the ability to create one dashboard or several dashboards possibly, depending on a situation or a type of client, and then present that same dashboard to 1,000 different clients, but each one would only see their name, their logo, their profile picture, the files that are awaiting them uniquely, custom field data, charts with the data that's from their account, all kinds of ways you can make a dynamic dashboard that will populate itself based on the logged in user. Okay, so that's the difference between static content, where you have things hard-coded like this, and dynamic content, where you use the platform tools to create a dynamic dashboard that populates itself based on who is logged in to the browser. And for this example, I've referred to dashboards, but this same thing can be applied to portal pages, to even landing pages using the private functionality. So anywhere you're building content in the platform, you can apply these concepts of dynamic content. And that'll become more clear as we work through this video. So let's move to the next subject, and that is dashboards. As you might expect, when you have navigation in a portal or even sometimes a website, you have a link called dashboard. In a website, it's usually called home, but in a portal, it's usually called dashboard, and SuiteDash does this as well. What you're seeing here is what we call the native dashboard menu item. Okay? Out of the box, you'll have this menu item at the top of the menu for you, your staff, and your clients. And what we'll talk about next is how you define where you, your staff, and your clients will be directed to when this native dashboard menu item is clicked. Of course, this also will vary based on who is logged in. It's dynamic as well. So by default, the native dashboard, that location that a person is directed to when they click the dashboard menu link, whatever that location is, will also be the place that they go immediately after they are logged into the platform. So if they hit the login page and they log in, the first redirection by default will be to the dashboard to which they are assigned. So I think you can hear in what I'm saying that there can be multiple dashboards. There can be a few, there can be 50, there can be 100, depending on your needs, or it can be as simple as just having one. But let's look at how it all works. So for a new SuiteDash account, you will find 2 dashboards in the list, and those will be what we call a fallback dashboard and a super admin fallback dashboard. And really, it's quite simple. The super admin will by default see the super admin fallback, and everyone else in the account by default will see the fallback dashboard. And this is the way it will stay unless you create more dashboards and start to assign them specifically to users or groups of users using the tools that we provide. So if you only need one dashboard for all your clients, then just use the fallback. You can just modify it and make it just like you'd like. As soon as you find yourself needing 2 or 3 versions of a dashboard based on different types of clients, then you can start creating new dashboards and assigning them using our tools. And the way that you would do that is by using a priority assignment logic. And it looks like this. So the highest priority is an individual assignment. Medium priority is based on circles or teams. Circles we've talked about in the CRM. Teams is the equivalent of circles, but on the staff side. And the lowest priority is the role assignment. So by, for example, client or prospect or teammate. So in the configuration that you see here, there's a circle called tax prep. So this means that any user that is a member of the tax prep circle logs in, they will be taken to this dashboard that's being configured right here. This one called tax prep dashboard. The only exception would be someone who's in the tax prep circle, but their name has been selected in another dashboard. Their name individually, uniquely was assigned here. And since that's a higher priority, they will be directed to that other dashboard instead of this dashboard. Also understand that it won't matter if they are a client or a prospect because the role assignment is not selected, A, and B, the role assignment is a lower priority than their circle. So as long as they are in the tax prep circle and they are not uniquely assigned to another dashboard by this higher priority item, they will land on this dashboard called tax prep dashboard. And you can use this logic to uniquely assign dashboards to specific clients or staff members based on these priorities. And remember that if you need them to see dashboard A in one stage and then dashboard B at a later stage, then you can do that by creating 2 dashboards, each one assigned to a unique circle. We'll just say dashboard circle A and dashboard circle B. And then you can add the target to dashboard circle A initially. And when you need to change them to the next dashboard that's more appropriate for later in your process, then you just remove them from dashboard circle A and add them to dashboard circle B. And then they will start to see dashboard B when they log in and when they click the native dashboard menu item. All right, so this logic is not super easy to onboard and process in such a short amount of time, but here it is represented a little bit more cleanly. So again, the top priority is the direct individual assignment. So this means if I have Betty that I need to see a dashboard that's totally unique to Betty, I can create a dashboard, assign it to Betty at the top, and it won't matter what circle she's in. It won't matter what role she has. None of that will matter. She will definitely be directed, because it's the highest priority, she will definitely be directed to the Betty dashboard, okay? If there's no direct assignment for Betty, then we'll look to see if there are any dashboards assigned to circles that Betty is a part of. If there's none of that, the platform will then look to see, are there any dashboards assigned specifically to the role that Betty has, client, prospect, whatever that is. If none of that is found, then Betty will go to the fallback dashboard, and that's why the fallback exists. So if there's no other assignments, fallback is where they will land. This means that every user will land on the dashboard. Which dashboard is determined by the priority logic that you see here. All right, so let's move on. The content block editor. So this is SuiteDash's proprietary content editor that helps you create layouts using multiple columns and rows and things like that. That's fairly typical. But what makes the content block editor different is the types of blocks that we make available to you, because these content blocks are specifically designed to provide dynamic options for you for things like dashboards, portal pages, etc. They're seamlessly integrated with the CRM, with the data from the CRM, with the data from the rest of the platform. They help you create scenarios where you can receive files from clients or deliver files to clients, show client data on a chart. All sorts of options are enabled by the proprietary content block editor. And even further, the visibility options are super robust. So we've already talked about how you can decide which user is going to see which dashboard. And the example we saw was a dashboard that was assigned to a circle. And that circle could have 1,000 users in the circle, so 1,000 different people seeing that dashboard. But what the content block editor can also do is help you segment even those people and show specific rows or blocks to only a segment. And the way you do that is by circles. So for example, we could assign a dashboard by one circle, but then use another circle to control access or visibility to a specific row on the dashboard, so that 1,000 people would see the dashboard, but only say 200 people in that second circle would see a specific row of content in that dashboard. So these powerful options give you almost infinite flexibility in the way that you want to present content and present data to your end users in a dynamic way that can change over time and change every time they log in, and change dynamically as they continue along their customer journey through your workflow. So you can design what we would call a multimodal experience for each type of client. So it's not just one experience for them, but it's an experience that's also based on where they are in their specific workflow. So the possibilities are unlimited, and it's all empowered by the content block editor, which you will find in all the relevant parts of the platform, including the next thing we'll talk about, which is portal pages. So portal pages are pages that are inside the platform. The user must be logged in to view them. But in contrast to dashboards, where each user has one defined dashboard based on that priority assignment we talked about earlier, portal pages don't have any limits like that. So you can create 500 portal pages assigned to a specific target or to a specific circle, and they'll have access to the content on all those pages. If you think in terms of what is typically called an intranet, which is basically a private section of a website with multiple pages, you can create that very easily using portal pages. So an example might be if you sold a product or service that had 10 pages of information and instructions and diagrams and pictures that needed to go along with it that was related to that product or service. And part of your offering is that anyone who buys that product or service will be able to log in and have access to all that information and data about the service or product. Then you would likely create a circle named after that service or product, then create those 10 portal pages and designate access to those 10 portal pages to that circle that is related to that service or product. And then when you're adding a target to the CRM, you'll add them to that circle, and automatically they'll have access to those 10 pages related to the service or product that they purchased from you. So that's just a simple example, but that logic can be extended in many ways to provide a very robust set of pages and therefore a very robust portal based on your needs. Now, one of the things you can do with a portal page in addition is you can designate that portal page as a start page. A start page is the page that someone is redirected to immediately after they log in. Now, we've already talked about how the native dashboard item is the start page or the start destination by default unless something changes. And one of the possible changes is that you can create a portal page and assign it as a start page for a specific target or a specific circle, and that will override that dashboard item start experience. So a use case would be, say, if you're creating a workflow and then at a certain stage of a workflow, you would like them to see a different page when they log in after they complete some task, for example, but only on that specific stage of your workflow. So in the previous stages, they're just landing at the dashboard, and then when they complete a certain task, you add them to a circle, and that circle is associated with a portal page that's set as a start page. So on that next login, they will not go to the dashboard, they'll go to this start page. Then they complete some other task, and you use an automation to remove them from that circle, and so then at that point, when they log in, they'll go back to the dashboard as they did originally. So the term that defines the use case here is the word interstitial. And an interstitial is typically defined by some short-term change in a login behavior or first experience behavior. And that's what the start page functionality can do for you. And that's why it has specific functionality outside of the dashboard functionality. So if you need more details, just check in the documentation, but just wanted to introduce you to this concept of start page. And the last major type of content to cover in this video is landing pages, okay? So landing pages are different from portal pages in that landing pages are designed to be accessed non-logged. So they'll have a public URL, they are available to the public, they display to the public. So to go back to our previous nomenclature, this is our target audience. We're exposing this landing page to unknown targets. We don't know who they are. And so these landing pages can serve as individual landing pages that have sign-up forms for you. Each one can have a friendly URL, so you can brand that URL specifically to the service or product that you're representing on that landing page. And you could even create multiple landing pages and link them together to achieve what is equivalent to a mini website based on how you present it, how they're linked together, etc. But where SuiteDash takes it to the next level here again is the fact that our content block editor allows you to create blocks that can be what we call private. So remember that we said landing pages are meant to display to unknown targets, non-logged targets. But of course it's possible that your existing known targets will also land on these pages, and maybe you want them to land on these pages as well. And if they are already logged or authenticated in the browser, maybe they authenticated into the portal, but now they move to this page and they are still logged in the browser. So we know who they are now. So since we know who they are, we have the option of showing them content that we won't show to unknown targets. So imagine a website page that shows the same to everybody. But of someone who is a known target and they are logged into your portal, we can detect that on a landing page and we can show them additional content that is not available to the public. And beyond this, when a block is set as private, you can then designate which circles can see it or which circles cannot see it. So this might be good for things like situational announcements or additional bonus content. Or you can create information pages that have some parts redacted or hidden and use those as teasers to get a sign up and a conversion. And once they convert and log in, then they're authenticated, and then you can redirect them back to the same URL. But instead of seeing the redacted and hidden sections, they'll actually see the real content that's available to them because they're now a paid member or a converted member, or however you decide to set things up. But they jump through your hoop, and now you can show them that hidden content. Because the landing page was public from the beginning, they could see the teaser content, but not the hidden content. And then that can lead them into your funnel. When they convert, you can add them to a circle that gives them permission when they visit that page again. After being authenticated, they will then automatically see the bonus content. And so therefore your delivery is automatic. And this can happen thousands of times. So really, really powerful. And very, very flexible. Okay, and just the last thing to discuss is the linking and interlinking. So all of these components that we just defined are designed to easily interlink with each other. And in fact, much of this can be done in a no-code way because of the proprietary content block editor. So if you simply need to onboard someone in a portal and show them a dashboard, you can do that very easily. If you need to show them a dashboard and also some spectrum of portal pages depending on a product or service that they're a part of, that is also very easily achievable. If you want to integrate landing pages into the network of pages and they have a specific purpose for your use case, then you can do that as well. Everything is available to you as a part of the portal functionality. There's no limit to the number of pages. There's no limit to the number of landing pages. There's no limit to the number of dashboards. You can create as many as you need and interlink and network them however you need, always using the right tool for the right job. Okay, so let's review what we've covered. Static content versus dynamic content. That's pretty simple. We looked at dashboards and how they're assigned using the priority logic. The content block editor is the powerful proprietary block editor that enables dynamic integration with the rest of the platform and all the data that you have stored in the platform. Portal pages are equivalent to what we would call an intranet. A start page is a single portal page that's designated as the start page based on some logic, usually a circle. And we talked about how landing pages are publicly available, but they also have the ability to set private blocks or private rows. And that private content would only be available to a target who was authenticated in the browser and then authorized by the access controls of that particular row or block, usually by circle or some other way. And then we quickly discussed the power of linking and interlinking all these elements to create a super powerful and flexible portal that can accommodate a wide range of access controlled functionality depending on your needs. Alright, so we've come to an end of this video. So now we've covered the portal overview, CRM concepts, forms and function, and we just finished dashboards and pages. Another somewhat lengthy video, but also very important, the core content of your portal. In the next video, we'll cover custom menus, and then we'll finish up this series discussing automation concepts. All right, good job everyone. You're well on your way. Thanks, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.